All right, and we're back in this episode. Last time we learned how to chop down the tree, and it was pretty cool. So this time what we're going to do is get resources from the tree. So every time you chop down the tree, you should be able to get hardwood and some leaves from the tree. So we're going to add that into this episode here. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to go into our tree blueprint. So open up your tree blueprint, and we're going to add some things to this. Now, when you open it up here, it'll look like this. And to the end of the tree blueprint, now I've already added this. Let's go ahead and just take it off so that you don't know what I've added. This is what I added. And we're about to add that, but don't worry. So on your palm tree blueprint, what we want to do is every time the tree falls, we want the character to gain some palm trees or palm leaves. So let's go to the third person character and let's make up a variable called palm leaves. So add an integer, so plus variable, and make sure it's called palm leaves, and it should be an integer. And we'll keep it at 0. Let's also add a variable that's an integer called hardwood here, because we're going to use that in a moment, because when we cut down the tree, we also get hardwood. So we get palm leaves and hardwood. But before that, what we need to do, before we go on, what we need to do is we need to go to the HUD so that we can see how many leaves that we get once we collect it. So let's go to our items HUD and let's add palm leaves. And all I did was I just duplicated the one from here, torch, right click, duplicate, and then it gives me this row, and I renamed it to palm leaves. For the binding here, let's look at the binding. All I did was get the third person character variable. Then I said get palm leaves, and I plugged it straight in. And for here, I just set the minimum integral digits to 2. Perfect. Now all we need to do is, if you drop the palm leaves, come over here. I believe you should be able to drop them. Just copy the stone knives, and we'll plug that in a moment. We also need to add up our or pull up our data table. So go to your blueprints, assets, pickups folder that we made. We made an item data table. Let's add a new row. When we add a new row, we're going to call it palm leaves, one word. Now we don't have to call it a BP because there's no way you're going to drop a palm leaf off in the world. It's just you can pick it up from chopping down trees. So we're going to say weight 1, the leaves of a palm tree, no actor, and the worth $1. Perfect. Now, every time the tree falls, we need the, right after the component is destroyed, we need to add some to the third person character. So cast to your third person character, get player character, and then what you want to do is you want to get palm leaves from the third person character. That's the that's the variable that we just made. Then you want to add palm leaves. Now, what we want to do is pull off here and say random integer in range. And that'll get you exactly what I have here. And we could say anywhere between 5 and 10. So it's going to add between 5 and 10 palm leaves to the player. And then we need to set the palm leaves. And once we set the palm leaves, we can compile and save. Then what we need to do is we need to make sure that the palm leaves, once we do pick them up from that tree, that they add weight to our character. So we need to add them in the current weight function. So go to your third person character and go to the current weight function that we made. And all we're going to do is add the data table row to this one. So just copy these two, copy and paste. And we're just going to plug it in just like this. And item found right here. Okay, and this one is going to be palm leaves. And for our palm leaves, all we've got to do is multiply it times the palm leaves. So multiply, hook up the palm leaves to there, and then we're going to add this one to the final weight. So there would be a plus sign right here, plus, and we will just add this weight to this weight. Bop. How are we looking now? Good. All right. So now we've got that current weight function in. So palm leaves should give us some weight. Now let's go ahead and go back to our palm tree. And we need to run that current weight function right here when we add one. So from the third person character, drag off, and we're going to say current weight function. And now we just got to start plugging in stuff because the palm leaves is getting added or updated. So plug that in, and we'll just, anything else from here, just like so rocks, plug it in. Anything else that you see up here, just plug it straight in. All right. We're about to have to do the same thing to the hardwood in a second though. But now we're going to say get current weights or set current weights. And it's just going to add up all the weight and set the weight again. And then we're going to do a weight check or check weight, just to make sure we're not overweight. Boom. Now you're going to pick up the palm leaves and they should add to your weight. Last thing we'd need to do is drop the palm leaves. So let's go back to our item HUD and we're going to drop the palm leaves here. So that's this one right here. So instead of third person character stone knives, let's drag off that and say palm leaves. I think I might be dyslexic, y'all. Every single time I type in palm leaves. Plug that up to the top one. And then so -1, and then we're going to set palm leaves. Yeah, I did it again. I really might be dyslexic, man. I need to go get a test for that. Is there a test for that? Put palm leaves to that. And then we're going to plug in palm leaves just like that. Plug in that one to that one. From the third person character, we need to get what's missing. Stone knives. Stone knives. And what else is missing? Scrap wood. Okay. Cool. Now we've got palm leaves into the game. Let's see it on our HUD. And let's make sure it's working good. So let's go ahead and try it. First things first is we need an axe. So let's pick up the axe. Boop. Cut down this tree. The leaves are gone. Now, do we have them in our inventory? Yes, we have 10 palm leaves. Good, perfect, exactly like we wanted it. Last thing is, once this thing is on the ground, we need to collect the hardwood from it. So that's going to be in our tree blueprint. So not even our tree blueprint, actually. It's going to be in the blueprint, assets, trees, but the palm or the tree top is what we called it. So here's what we need to do here. So in the treetop, what we need to do is give it some health, just like the regular tree had health. So in the variable, let's add an integer, and we're going to call it health. And let's go to compile and save and set it to 3. Now that means every time we strike this tree, 1, 2, 3, it should break. So let's go back to the third person character into the event graph. And there should be something that says weapon effect over here. Take damage for the palm tree, stone axe palm tree, take damage. Let's also make it take damage when the other actor is the treetop. So the way we'll do that is we'll do that inside the treetops functionality. So cast the third person, or basically get the palm trunk right here. And whenever it's overlapped, so on component begin overlap, other actor is going to be the third person character. If attacking is true, so do a branch. Drag off and say if attacking is true, Then what we want to do is we want to take health or take damage. So this is going to be all the take damage function in one. So we'll get the health -1 and set the health and plug that all up to true. Now, now we have the health. We need to check and see if that health that we just got is less than or equal to 0. And if it is, then we need to go ahead and destroy this actor. But before we destroy the actor, we need to add 1 to the hardwood for the player. So drag off the third person character and get hardwood and +1. And then we'll set hardwood to that number. So drag off a third person, set hardwood, bow, bow, bow. So is it only going to be the +1, or let's say like between 1 and so random integer in range between 3 and 7. That might be a lot. 3 and 5. Okay. And then destroy the actor. Boom, boom. Before that, though, we have to do another little wait function here. And so we're going to have to repeat the process that we did at the beginning of the episode. But what I want to do, though, is when you get close to this palm trunk, so viewport, let's go ahead and add a sphere collision. Because if you remember, when we walk into the sphere collision, we want to know that we can pick this up. So on the radius, just make it so it covers the whole tree, or at least a big amount of it. Then on third person character, on the event graph, on event component begin overlap for the sphere, when the third person overlaps it, then all we need to do is add a widget here and then pull up that widget. Let's when it overlaps, we need to show the item's name. So let's add a new variable called item name, and it's going to be the pink one, which is a text. Compile and save. And for the name of this one, it's going to be called Hardwood. All right, now, whenever the character passes over it, we want to show that widget. So let's add a widget to this. Treetop, add a widget. And the widget that we want to add, I actually want it to be on the trunk. And let's put it up here. Put it over here. The widget that I want to add is going to be the item name widget. So find the class over here, find item name, bow, and it should pick up the name there. That's too high up. And what I know is that the tree is going to be turned sideways. So I'm going to turn the widget sideways. Oops. I'm going to turn the widget sideways because I know that when the tree falls, like this is the way that you're going to see the widget. Boom, boom. So when the player crosses over the sphere, then we want the widget to become visible. So set visibility to new visibility true. When they end the overlap, so on component end, third person, all we want to do is set the visibility of that widget to false. So copy, paste, and set the visibility to false. Compile and save. Perfect. Perfect. Now, last thing we need to do is also, let's go to the third person character real quick. And when they do get into that attack, all we have this attack is playing this animation montage. So what I want to do is I want to put another animation montage there, because when he gets close to that, I want him to attack the log in a different manner. And the manner that I got is like I found a new animation on mixing mode. I think it was called like standing melee attack downward. This one. Yeah, that one. So now he can chop the log. So I'm gonna make that one into an animation montage by right clicking and saying create anim montage. And it could be called whatever. But now I can use that. So in the third person character, when he's attacking, if weapon is in hand, is true, set movement mode to none. Let's right here, we need to do another branch. So branch, and we're gonna say, so the first one goes up to false. And let's make a variable called near choppable. Anything choppable, basically. Anything he can chop. So in this case, it's going to be the wood. Or anything else we deem choppable. I don't know if choppable is even a word, but for me, it works. So if he's near a choppable item, if that's not true, then do the regular attack. But if it is true, copy, paste, do that animation montage that we just made, which was this one, standing melee. Okay, and then all we want to do is do the same thing. So should be a delay afterwards, delay, and then set the movement mode back. You can just plug that here. Yep, and that looks good to me. So now all we got to do is when he gets close to that treetop, when the visibility is set, we also need to set near choppable to true. And when he gets away from it, set it to false. Perfect. So I guess the last thing we need to do to end this episode out is put it onto our items list. So blueprints, hoods, items, hood, duplicate palm leaves. Oh yeah, and this one I'm gonna call it palm. Okay, this part's gonna take a second though. We gotta do the weight and shit. All right, so duplicate. And on this one, we're gonna call it hardwood. Text block hardwood. Okay, and then for this part right here, for the numbers, let's bind it to create a binding. Get that third person reference that we made. Get the hardwood. Put it into this. Make sure it's 2 for the minimum integral digits. Pull that back. Make it neat. Compile. Save. Bet. I don't know if we did the drop for the palm leaves or not, but if we didn't do that, but we need to copy and paste the same drop for the hardwood. So graph. Let's go to our event graph. This is drop palm leaves. Drop palm leaves. And now we're going to just copy that. Copy, paste. And this one's going to be called drop hardwood. Okay. Compile and save. Back to our, we haven't finished this yet. So let's go to our designer here. And on this drop button, let's go ahead and put on clicked and replace this custom event that it made for us with that one. And there's not going to be palm leaves this time. It's going to be hardwood. So let's change that out. Instead of palm leaves, just type in hardwood. And we'll -1 set hardwood to the number right there. Plug that in, bop, bop. Then plug this in. From here, third person, we need to get palm leaves, plug that in to here. And then on our weight function, let's go back into that by double clicking it. And we need to add hardwood to here. So add another input, and it's going to be called hardwood. Boom. And we need to do the exact same thing. So in our data table, let's add a row. This one's going to be called hardwood, because again, hardwood is not going to be something like the rocks, the stone knife, the torch. There's no blueprint for this. Like it is what it is. Like you only get it from chopping things in my game. So weight, this is going to be kind of heavy. I'm going to say 10 pounds. A solid piece of wood for crafting. Actor, no actor this time again. And worth, how much is each one going to be worth? How about $10? 10 pounds, $10. Save. Now let's go back to our items HUD so that we can add it here. So when you drop the hardwood, we need to go ahead and plug that check in. So right here from your hardwood, plug it right into your current weight function, and that's set up perfectly. We can close that one now. We can close the data table. We were done with that. Okay, so right here, palm tree BP, we need to plug in hardwood here. So drag off a third person character, hardwood, and plug it right on up. Compile, save. In our third person character, we need to do this on the data table. So get data table row, so copy these two and paste, plug it up, row found, plug it up. Instead of palm leaves this time, we want hardwood. And of course, all you got to do is multiply the weights times the amount of hardwood. Then we're going to add it to the end. So plus. And instead of this one here, here's what we'll do. Just hold control so you can move this down. And then we'll just plug that in so we could plug this in. Perfect. Hardwood now should be fully set up. So when we chop down a tree, we should be able to pick up hardwood. Now, one thing that you might have to do is you might have to go back through all the stuff that you've created and update it. Like here, there's no hardwood, so the weight would be off. So that's what you might have to do, but I would do that off screen. So let's get this axe real quick. Let's go cut down this tree. Whop, whop. Yeah, that's what I thought. Now, look, see, there's the widget. But he swings correctly. Perfect. Now let's check our items. Hardwood, he didn't get any. So let's go back to the tree top. Blueprint. Now let's take off this attacking one. Let's take off that attacking, because I don't think that matters, to be honest. You could say weapon in hand. That's like a better check to do, just to make sure they have the weapon in their hand. Has stone axe or stone axe equipped. So get axe equipped, stone axe equipped. Yeah, there you go. If stone axe is equipped, that's all we need to check at the beginning. And then towards the end here, let's do that current weight function from the player. The third person character, current weight function, and get ready to rock and roll. So plug that in to the end, but also drag off the third person character, and we need to set current weight to this number here. And we could do a weight check as well. Make sure they're not overweight. Weight check. and then you could destroy the actor. Boom. Now let's set all this stuff up here. So hardwood, plug that in, and all the rest of this stuff, you're just gonna have to drag it off and get it. So I'll do that. I'll press pause and do that. All right, now that all of that is set up, it should collect the hardwood. I think I'm hitting the tree down into the I think I'm hitting it down into the ground. I think that's exactly what's happening here. So in order for that to not happen, real quick, let's find that treetop, and I'll show you something. There's something called collision or custom collision or some kind of advanced collision. So in my tree top blueprint and click on the palm tree trunk. It might be over here. So let's go to where it says collisions, open up advanced. There it goes. Use a CCD. Let's turn that on and see if that makes a difference. If it does, then this is exactly what we wanted to do. And everything should be set. Okay, perfect there. Womp, womp, womp. Oh, maybe it's too high up. It's not hitting it. Womp. Oh, okay. Womp. Okay, so the hardwood registered. He has 5 hardwood. Now his weight is 75. Oh my goodness. 5 times 10 is 50. So what else has he got? 10 palm leaves. 60. So how's his weight? 75. Oh, plus the axe, 15 more. Damn, bro's mad overweight at this point. So that's all we wanted to do this episode. Next episode, we're going to be able to do something with that hardwood. Like maybe build a house or something like that, or a door, or pieces of our house, so that we can go build like a base. Because every time I see a survival game, they have like a base. Let's go ahead and see if we could drop some of this stuff here. So let's drop some of this hardwood. Oops. Okay, that's better. Cool, man. That's all I want to show y'all this episode. I will holla at y'all in the next one. Peace.
Run to the money, on the feet, don't fail. The DA and the judge, wanna do their best to jail. I done heard it all.